Is Miss Janet joining us?
I think her audio's taking a second. There we are. We're live on Facebook.
Hello, so sorry about that. I was having some technical difficulties.
No problem. Welcome. This is our final splash. I forgot what I called it in our email, but anyway, this is our last splash before we have our summer. So it's our summer social with the Chamber of Commerce. And right now, the reason we have on sunglasses is because we're throwing a little shade. Maybe sport them a little bit. So let's go ahead and do a little welcome. I took my sunglasses off for this.
I know I can't see really good.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sunita. I know it was for a second, just for like show.
Just
We're
for
not gonna
fun.
keep them on the whole time. That was the whole message. Anyway, my name is Sunidra Blake. I am the Assistant Director for the Coweston Chamber of Commerce, and we are having our summer social. I have a few people that have joined me online, and I'm so looking forward to some of the information that they have to share. I have my director online, Hillary. She's right here to me. Hey, Hillary. And we our summer social. I have a few people that have. I think we have a little bit of a lag. Can you hear me, Hillary?
Okay, yes, I'm sorry. I was trying to get on our Facebook page thing and get that going to make sure I can see the comments. And the audio was kind of coming over the Zoom audio. Sorry about that. So I'm Hillary Hyslop.
Yes,
I'm the director for I'm assuming you wanted me to do my introduction. Is that what you want?
Yep, your intro. Yep.
Okay,
just
sorry.
Introduce yourself.
So my name's Hillary Hyslop. I am the director for the Coweston Chamber of Commerce. And if I keep looking away, don't think I'm, spazzing out or whatever. I've got, our Facebook page up so that we can say hi to Tabitha Yeba is on Facebook. Hey, Tabitha. Al Perry is live with us on Facebook, and Tammy Jackson Moore. Hello over there in Belle Glade, Tammy. And then we've got on Facebook Yvette Avila and Cynthia De La Salas. And I'll kind of update you guys as we continue to go as to if we get questions and stuff like that on Facebook. But if you want to go ahead and go on to Raymond.
Hi, I'm Raymond Iglesias. Sorry, you ready?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm Raymond Iglesias. I'm the general manager at Roland and Marianne Martins Marina, and I'm also a candidate for Hendry County Commission District 4.
Thank you, Raymond. He's all G'd up with his cup and his shirt. I love it. I love the branding. We also have Jeanette on. Hi, Jeanette. You want to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Jeanette or Janet Peoples, and I'm a Hendry County citizen.
Awesome. And we have a call in. Hi, caller. Are you there?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Come on, Randy.
Yeah, this is Randy Martin, Coweston City Manager. Good to be with all of you. I can see you on my computer, but I can't. You can't see me.
That's okay. You're here in heart and spirit, and I can envision you, your every move anyway. So we're gonna start out with just some information and some things that are coming up soon. Our agenda does, we've already thrown a little shade. We've had our sunglasses on. I know it's raining out, and it almost seems weird, but whatever. The cool people wear sunshade.
Let's do it again, just for good measure, okay. Sunitra. Just for good measure. Just because we can.
I think so. Why not?
And because I like those glasses.
Raymond, you look so cool. What are you, official?
Not mine, these are Caleb's.
Oh my gosh. I'm not gonna go with my comment. I'm gonna keep it on the low. So the next person I want to talk to is Jeanette. So Jeanette, you have an event that's coming up tomorrow. Our chamber socials are free and open to the public, of course. Like our normal setting is at a business, a chamber member's business, business and they are, sharing some information about what's currently going on, or just a reintroduction, and just an opportunity for us to network and communicate with businesses in the community. So at this point, we have Ms. Jeanette. I'm sorry, I'm getting a phone call. Ms. Jeanette, and I want you to talk a little bit about your event that you have coming on. Even though you're not a chamber member, we are glad that you're here, and we're glad to hear some information from you.
All right, we're like very excited. We have so many people who reached out, and we reached out to so many people from all backgrounds, all different cities, to just unite and celebrate Juneteenth. We have some dynamic speakers coming from all over Florida and out of state. And we're just excited to educate, get educated, and just unite together.
Awesome.
So Janet, what time does that start?
So we're going to start the walk portion at 9 a.m. from Harlem. And the actual program with the speakers and everything will begin at 10 a.m. at the Civic Park.
Okay, now Civic Park, that's right across from US Sugar's main building, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I mean, I know this, I'm just trying to like put it, frame it out for some folks that might not, and maybe they don't want to walk, maybe they can't walk and they just want to meet you in town, that kind of thing. So you think around a 10 a.m. arrival if you just are wanting to meet at the park?
Yes, we're asking everyone that's not physically walking to arrive by 10 a.m.
Okay.
And there are some people that we've made arrangements for on the golf cart, save them a spot, because again, like you said, some people can't walk.
Sure.
And after the program, we have transportation back to the park in Harlem. Though
Okay.
we have school buses that were donated by the superintendent, Paul Paletti. And we also have some church vans. So we're just very excited.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So now what can folks kind of like expect from speakers and things like that? Tell us a little bit about, like what that might look like.
All right, we have 4 pillars that we're going to discuss. Education. We have Mr. Brian Knowles from the School District of Palm Beach County. He's the manager of the African American, Latino, Holocaust, and Gender Studies, a big department.
Okay.
And we have Dr. Sharon Dixon from Mississippi. She's a former pediatrician, and she's a current administrator with United Healthcare.
Okay.
And she's going to be speaking about healthcare. And then we have Dr. Wilhelmina Lewis, who is a local. She's the CEO of Florida Community Health Centers, but she'll be speaking about community. And then we also have a local attorney, Tyrone Lawson.
Nice.
So Watson,
You guys have put a lot of time and energy into this.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
A lot. Well, I, for one, I'm looking forward to it. I might be too lazy to walk. I don't know yet, but but I am looking forward to it, and we're really glad to have you on the call this afternoon. And when we get back to the new normal and we can all get together and do socials in person, always remember that they're open to the public. So we'd love to have you join us anytime.
All right. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, Sanidra. I always hijack. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. We make a good team.
Oh, hold on. I have a question. Sorry, as I interrupt again. I have a question. So we've got Eddie Warren and Belinda. Belinda still holds a special place in our heart. Cynthia De La Salas is asking if there's something that they can do. What can we do if we have to work and can't attend? Is there a way that they still can participate? I'm assuming that question is for Jeanette. Like, is it going to be on Facebook Live or anything like that?
We haven't designated anyone specifically for Facebook Live. We're going to try and get a few people, but a lot of people say they just want to be in the moment. But we have 2 different videographers, and if they can't actually participate and have to work that day, what we're going to do is release the video afterwards.
Okay, now will that release happen? And I'm asking a lot of questions, I know, but it's just for like the folks that are watching on Facebook with us. But will that release happen on the GLM page? that what you anticipate?
Oh, no, we will probably release it through my Facebook
Okay,
because they aren't providing the videographer,
okay, gotcha.
something that I coordinated. So we will release it out, and then maybe I could connect with you all and share it with you.
Of
And
course,
perhaps
please
you
do.
can-
Okay, for
Yeah.
sure. So Cynthia, I hope you were still listening and you got those answers. Hey Buffy, hey Yanelli. If when we get our hands on it, Cynthia, we'll be happy to share it with you. Maybe somebody down there will be Facebook Living. If I happen to see it, I can just tag you personally as well. So, okay, go ahead. That was our question.
No, that's all I had. I think like we're in Harlem with this walk began if I feel like putting on tennis shoes in the morning.
It's gonna be we call it the Tree Park. It's right at the entrance of Harlem.
Okay,
It's
I know where
before
that
you
is.
get to the Civic Center. Yep.
Okay, I wouldn't have gotten too lost because I'm like riding around Harlem trying to figure out where would this begin. But I am super excited about the entire event. I'm not going to ask the other question. I'll text you. That'll be going too deep.
And this is rain or shine, right?
Rain or shine,
Okay.
snow, sleet, hail, we're walking.
Awesome. All right, well, we also have Raymond on. Hey, Raymond.
How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Good.
Raymond
Good,
has
good.
become like a chamber champion, right? Like
Yes, he shows
we need
up.
to start a champion circle. I don't know that we, for the last couple of years now, have done much that Raymond hasn't been a part of. It's so great. We appreciate you.
Well, thank you. And I appreciate what you guys do for the marina and all the businesses in Clueston, Lake Okeechobee. You guys are big advocates and a big help for what we do. As you guys know, we shut down operations at the marina back in April to try to prevent the spread of COVID. Well, that really didn't work. Now we're up to, I think, 700 cases now. Is that right?
Quite a few.
Like yeah, I don't know. I think the last I actually saw was 690, but I think that might have been yesterday's numbers.
Yeah.
It's 700.
Is it? There you go.
As you guys know, to operate a business is difficult. When you throw COVID in the mix, it's not much easier. There are day-to-day challenges. You know, we have guests that come from all over the country. And I can tell you that the fishermen want to fish. The marina actually has a tournament series that we started 6 years ago. We had to postpone our first event of the season, which was April the 28th due to COVID. And we actually kicked off the season this past Saturday. Actually, Hillary, your kids helped us.
Yeah.
I always try to bring youth out from the community. We had 5 kids helping us. We had 156 teams. That's 312 anglers fishing this tournament. It was our second largest tournament for our series.
In the midst of a pandemic.
Yeah, and this is really what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, they're stir crazy. They want to get out. We had a tournament where not only did we block off the parking lot so that we wouldn't have spectators, that didn't go over all that great as far as people being mad. But you know, my thing was the protection of the anglers and the guests. Typically, we would allow 30, 40 fishermen at a time coming up to what they call the weigh tanks. We didn't do that. We actually had somebody along with the kids on the docks with a bullhorn, and we would call up 3 or 4 anglers at a time. And per boat, there's 2 team members on a boat. We only allowed 1 team member. The marina, we went to the next level. We're kind of trying to, we call it, my hook rep called it pro level entertainment, because we created a live streaming directly to our internet page where we text the link directly to the anglers. They were able to watch the weigh-in because they were not able to watch it in front of the stage like they would traditionally do. And I got to tell you that in the communication process with these anglers, and I've been doing this for 16 years, fishermen don't typically listen too well. I can tell you that these guys, they want to fish, and ladies, we have ladies fishing. We actually had, I'd probably say 98.5% of the people listened. So it was a tremendous event.
Listen, it looked like it was running like a well-oiled machine when Rusty and I came up there. It looked, I mean,
my nerves were shot because I just didn't know what to expect. I really thought, okay, we're going to put these rules in place. It's going to get out of hand. I'm going to have to address it. and kind of, move things around. I really didn't have to do that. I was just facilitating the tournament. So all of our staff, it takes, my day started at 3 o'clock in the morning that day, getting things set up, and it's something that drives me. I love to do events. Like Jeanette was talking about, rain, sleet, or snow. She's going to have her event because it took her a lot of time to get this event going for tomorrow. So those are the things you got to do. But I got to hand it to our sponsors and the city of Clewiston. I mean, Aaron Angel helped with his staff, but everyone comes together when we have an event that brings business to our area. A lot of people think that when we have fishing tournaments, it only benefits the marina. Carl Berner came up there with his son and his grandson, and he's been a sponsor of mine for 4 years. He was totally floored. He never realized the amount of fishermen and boats that were in the water. And I walked him around, showed him some things, but those guys are going back uptown. They're going to buy fuel at his gas stations or all the gas stations. They're going to go eat at Sonny's. They're going to go trade at Walmart. So when we bring events to the area, it benefits everybody in our community.
Did you know, Raymond? It absolutely does. I'll circle back around to the DYK here in a second. But sitting on, like, being in my position with the chamber, I sit on the Tourism Development Council board, and we're basically an advisory board when it comes to tourism here in Hendry County. And fishing, Lake Okeechobee has a tremendous impact on our tourism, which in turn has a tremendous impact on our local economy. So you guys do a wonderful job of pulling people in, and when they come in, they're staying overnight, and that, they're eating at our restaurants or, your restaurant or somewhere else in town. They're buying our fuel, they're, stopping at our stores. It really is very beneficial to the community as a whole. But back to did you know that it is National Fishing Day today?
Yeah, I heard that on the radio this morning.
So happy National Fishing Day to the Roland Martin Marina.
Know what I'm eating for dinner tonight?
Yes.
Those largemouth bass, we catch and release at the marina. So that's a good point. So we do, at the marina, we do 1,200 guide trips a year, 1,800 guide trips a year. And every guest that comes to the marina on a fishing guide trip that they're paying to go fishing, they're told ahead of time that we're catch and release. And what that means is they're going to catch the fish for the sport of it, and they're going to release it back in the water to keep those fish alive, because it's all about the sport of fishing for us, where we're able to entertain people coming back year after year, decade after decade, and generation after generation, and then the tournaments as well. But if we continue to take the fish out of the water, we're not going to be able to continue to do that.
Right.
We've got Mercedes, Prudhoe Maurice, and Ati Kurtz on here on the Facebook side. So hey guys, welcome. If you're joining us on Facebook, it looks like we have a pretty good crowd watching us. If you have any questions, hey Lori, she's there. Just drop them in the comments below, and we'll be happy to try to answer them. And if we don't have the answer, we can certainly get it.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So this is directed to Randy, if he's still on the line. Randy, the other night in the city meeting, you had addressed the recreation, the ball fields. Did you guys open back up today as anticipated?
Yes, I was prepared to comment on the several of the things we did, but we have getting the fields, everything's in order. We've actually let them been practicing the last couple of nights, but don't know if they'll get to tonight with the rain we had today. But we are ready to go on the ball fields, and teams are practicing. We hadn't had any games yet, but we have some groups planning on doing those later in the summer.
Well, I can tell you that travel ball team that we helped facilitate to get them to use that ball field the other night. They're very appreciative. I was able to work that out where they were able to go to LaBelle and use their fields until you guys opened up. So they were really appreciative about that. Thank you again.
No problem. I appreciate it being brought to our attention. I went out and greeted them, and they seemed very positive when I went out.
Hey, Brandon, I got a comment that I think is probably directed to you. Hey, Brandon. Brandon has joined us on Facebook. Brandon is one of our board members. So welcome to the Facebook side, Brandon. Yaneli, it's not really a question, it's just a comment. Yaneli says from the Lock Boss, we personally get calls from the marina all the time at all times of the night. We take pride in providing great customer service because we're showing who we are as a community. So I guess people lock their keys and their stuff at
Bring me
the
some business
marina
cards.
pretty regularly, Raven.
Well, I think that's related to the tiki. I'm just
That-
gonna put that out there.
yeah, you're
I don't
probably
manage the tiki
spot
or
on
restaurant,
there.
but,
That's
Probably.
it, Raymond. Disassociate yourself with all of that. I
I don't
see
care about that. But if you'll bring me
Funny.
some business cards, we'll make sure that all the staff has it.
That's funny. Yeah, did you hear that, Yaneli? He said if you drop off some business cards, they'll make sure that they have those in stock there for folks that may need assistance. So that's awesome. Thank you, Raymond.
Yaneli's also like another champion. She's like a
Yes.
relatively new member, but she's like always involved. So shout out to you and the Lock Boss and being
She's
involved
on
in the
it,
community.
right? Like she was
Mhm.
always at our in-person socials with her trusty little sidekick, her daughter.
Mhm.
So thank you, Yaneli. We're grateful to have you guys be a part of the chamber.
So before we move on to Raymond, just a couple of things, guys that are joining us through Facebook. If you're not a member of the Chamber of Commerce, like drop your information in the comments so that maybe we can have a conversation with you and figure out like what's the best fit. Truthfully, the Chamber of Commerce is a place where we promote and protect our businesses in our community, and we take a lot of pride in that and a lot of joy. Is we have fun. So if you're not a part of the chamber,
You should be.
yeah, you should be. I have no problem with plugging the chamber right here. Right here. The last person we're going to have on before we wrap up is our city manager, who's also my classmate. You can't tell just by looking at us, but he is my classmate with Henry Glades County leadership. So it's Raymond.
I feel like we need to do like a drum roll for
I
Randy.
think they're gonna make us go to summer school. So we miss so many classes due to
Oh.
COVID that,
You might have COVID summer school. We'll have to ask Keitha about that.
Seriously. But anywho, Randy, you still there?
Yes, ma'am. I'm awake and ready to go.
All right, we'll shoot off, brother. Go ahead.
All right. First of all, I appreciate the chamber doing this, and thank you to all that's participating and those that are chiming in, because it's an excellent way to share information, and the city's obviously very supportive. I heard a lot of positive about the event this weekend at the marina, and glad it was successful. I guess that's one of the first of that type organized events that we've had in the city in months now. As Raymond pointed out, we did announce this week several changes, and I'll review those to our operation of our facilities related to COVID. Still got a ways to go, and I'll certainly answer any questions about our current state of affairs, but I will be issuing our tri-weekly for your information. Anybody that's interested in that, it'll be on our Facebook and website and so forth. I want to start out though by being very optimistic and saying that I'm very pleased with the way things are going in Clewiston, and the board's very supportive of the efforts we've been making to try to boost our economy and get back recovery mode. But we still got a lot of work to do with, and I'm an optimistic person by nature, but we've really got some serious challenges with regard to managing our reopening efforts and still trying to slow the spread of this virus that is still plaguing Florida as a state. The region we're in, our neighbors like Immokalee, the Belglade area, have just exploded with cases. Now some of the counties that were doing really well in terms of very low numbers have risen. We're sort of in the middle of the pack. We're at 700 as of today, unfortunately, and it's tragic, but we've had 21 deaths in the county. And the trend of late, early on, and it's not a competition by any means, but I think it's good to point out that this is not just a Clewiston concern or the Clewiston zip code. Of late, it's transitioned to where we have a significant growing numbers in the LaBelle portions of the county and Felda. Those communities have actually outpaced the LaBelle zip code has outpaced Clewiston zip code for the last in June by over 25 cases total. Just the two zip codes just since June 1st, our county's seen 275 new cases. So we're on a pace to more than double every 30 days or less in cases. So if that trend doesn't break or something change, we could be looking at over 1,000 to 1,500 cases in less than 30 days. So something's got to give, and I hope it's that we.
Let me interrupt you for just a second, and I'm going to ask about like the elephant in the room. What can we do as individuals?
Well,
this is concerning.
It is, and that's why I'm being serious about it, because I'm still happy with some of the way we've handled things and enforced, and I'm not being critical of the governor's actions. No. I think tough decisions had to be made, or nationally, but individuals is really where the rest of it is going to be. If we don't adhere to the guidance, and the guidance keeps evolving of late, I'm hearing comments and reading articles to where surface transmission is less of a concern than they thought it was early on. It's still important that we sanitize and do all the things we're doing, but personal responsibility of the hand washing, the social distancing, wearing face coverings, avoiding of other people when you have some of the telltale signs that you may be getting sick. We're going to have to really have some change agents in the way we're operating, and the city is approaching its reopening of its facilities and things, encouraging citizens, but really at this point, outdoor activities, we're loosening up, and I'll cover those in a moment to the extent time permits, and be glad to answer any questions. But indoors and still face-to-face interactions are very, very disconcerting as to how this thing spreads. And so as the healthcare professionals learn, and I'm very pleased with the efforts, our cooperation with the county agencies, our partners with the health department and others, everybody's working really hard. But the bare bones reality is we have tested over 10% of this county's population already, over 4,000 tests, and we're still seeing triple the state average. Almost 17% of them are positive. So I don't know that we've touched.
What is the state average for testing in other communities, Randy?
It's less than ours, actually, not much higher. 10% for us is getting. We started slow. I know you had the mayor on Tuesday night. The county got slow start in getting all the testing options that are out there now, but our hospital now has the equipment and their training to be able to do instantaneous testing. So we've got to get people to, and that's one really good thing, is the results will be known much sooner so people can take the appropriate action. But we're testing now at over 10%, and that's higher than the state average last time I checked, but we're triple the state average in terms of the positivity. And so that's a tough dynamic. So the more we test, it doesn't get any better.
And that's the goal. I mean, the more you test, the more negatives you should be finding. Or that's the whole thing, to help drive that positivity percentage down, correct?
That's correct. And sooner or later, I think that will take effect. We're not climbing in that, but we're still hovering in at 16% plus, and we've got to reverse that. And a lot of it now, they've gotten the nursing homes much better under control in the county. They've the businesses, there've been changes there that have made a difference. But going back to your question, I think it's right now it's down to individual responsibility, because family transmission, contact transmission is what's going on. And listening to the health officials, it's a tough one to crack when you've got multiple people in a house. It's pretty much going all the way through the family, and
Yeah.
so
Like the stomach
we
flu.
we just tested, offered it to all our city employees. The county did, LaBelle did. All of us this week have been using. Now we're using our EMS staff in the county to administer those tests. I've personally been tested twice now. Knock on wood, so far haven't had a positive, but I'm trying to set an example. People need to get tested if you've been exposed or think you have, as soon as possible, and take advantage of the different testing availables that are out there in terms of.
So what if we have someone that we've come in contact with that is awaiting their own test results? Would the advice be for us to get tested too, or just wait until she finds out?
Again, that's a personal responsibility
Yeah,
of driving, but I guess it's all in the conditions. But I'd highly recommend, if the testing is free and it's open like it is currently on a scheduled basis, some of them require appointments, I would get tested for peace of mind. Of course, that is only good for as long as you're not exposed at some later date. So
Sure.
I've seen
Exactly.
where
That
some
was
of
my
the
point.
yeah. So some of
Because
the
I
major
too-
league sports.
Sorry, go ahead, Randy.
Go ahead.
No, what I was going to mention was, like, I too have been tested twice, and knocking on wood, I haven't had any positive results. But then it becomes a question, and I hope not to go too deep into this, but how many times do we have to revisit the same testing, in the event that you become exposed, or the possibility of exposure? It just becomes this whole cycle, and then it goes right back into just protecting yourself and your family the best that you can until we get over this hump. And I'm not speaking of the curve itself or a second wave. I'm speaking of the hump of us getting through this entire pandemic until we fully understand what's happening here. But that was just my comment.
It looked like Raymond had a comment. Did you want to say something, Raymond?
Yes. Randy, I think that the issue is when people don't have any symptoms, they don't think there's anything wrong with them. So they come in contact with somebody that's got it, and they could possibly walk around and give it to somebody else. And I know we're at 700 cases, and I think there's a number of, maybe a split, about 350 cases that are cleared. And that's a number that you really don't utilize. But Randy, have y'all had conversations that because we're now a hot spot, that we probably need to look at making it mandatory to wear a mask? And then if you did that, can you even enforce it?
Well, and that's typically in these things, we have not done anything on that yet. We're obviously in our releases encouraging people to use those face coverings, because that is more and more being proven to be a very effective way of reducing the spread. But we're watching some of our metro partners. I know I've been following a number of newspapers across the Southeast and in Florida, and the metro areas, that's really what the dilemma they're dealing with. They're putting in place these guidelines or requirements, and some of the larger communities are requiring masks, but there's not an effective way to enforce it, particularly on beaches and things like that. So that's why I was saying to Hillary, it really is going to fall back on individuals to take this seriously. And unfortunately, there's some alarming trends. We have seen lately, they've started reporting on pediatric cases or youth cases. The younger folks tend to think that they're invincible anyway, and so we're seeing we're at a 25, I believe it was last time I checked, % positive rate on youth testing in the county, and that's high by state standards. And the other part of that is three of the last 3 deaths of the 21, the first 18 were exclusively, or close to 18 of the 21 have been exclusively in our senior population, that most of them were associated with the care facilities, the long-term care facilities. The last 3 have been 60 and 2 in the 50s. and at least one of them only had underlying conditions, but was a healthy adult that was out in the community that wasn't having any issues, but they did have an underlying condition that became a comorbidity. And so that's alarming, that we're seeing a younger group. And the age of our people that have been infected in the county has dropped consistently. The state average in ours in the early stages was in the 50s, the average. Now we're in the high 30s, and much of that was driven by the farming population impact of the farm workers, many of whom were migrant workers who left the area. But the influence of those folks that were infected here are in our totals, and they were much younger and mostly male, and that's affected our numbers too. But if you're ready, I can, unless there's other questions on that, I would like to at least inform the public on the changes, some of which were just alluded to by Raymond.
Yes,
effective.
Let's talk about something happy.
The positive side, going back to our strategy again on the outdoor activities, is to encourage those and to allow people the exercise and all the other things they need. So we're reopening Sugarland Park this week, all of our ball fields. We're still encouraging groups to try to stay under 50 by the governor's guidance that's still in effect. We're putting back in the congregate picnic table locations. Those will be open by tomorrow. We're
back in
and people
Park,
will be
Randy?
able to reserve. Ma'am?
Are you going to put the swings back in Civic Park?
Yeah, I think they're already back. The swings going
okay.
back in if they're not already in.
Good.
The only recreation area that won't be open is the one at the Herbert Hoover Dike, because that construction activity that was planned by the Corps is still ongoing. So that'll be closed at least through November 1st. In terms of indoor facilities, we will start taking reservations and renting and encouraging and setting some guidelines but on their use, but we will allow rentals at the youth center and the John Boy Auditorium with social distancing and all the other things recommended. The Senior Citizen Center, we're going to be working with the partners, so there's no definitive date on that, the ones that operate it, the organizations, and so that'll be announced in the near term. Unfortunately, partly due to the lateness of the season and several other factors and the difficulty in meeting some of the guidance, we're going to defer and at this point do not plan to have our traditional summer program for youth. We are going to have a youth golf camp in July 20th through 24th at the golf course, which has really easy to do social distancing for that. The library, we're going to be working on a phased reopening of it to allow patrons to make appointments and limit the number in the facility at a time. And so those are some of the things we're still working out the details. Unfortunately, we won't be able to open the swimming pool this summer. It's too late to get lifeguards, and then when they go back to college or whatever, which is a great number of them, or back to school, we don't have the staffing, so we're going to forego opening the pool this year. We will open the splash pad facility in July, and but lastly, on that, we're unfortunately going to cancel the 4th of July fireworks because many of our peers have determined it's just a really difficult activity to have and not have a large gathering of people, and getting people to comply with staying in their vehicles just is not very practical. So we're going to forego the fireworks activity. I'm very sorry to hear that or to announce that. As for our other city offices and things, we're looking at a July phased reopening, but we're still doing improvements that'll be permanent improvements to have our facilities compliant with the guidance and have the safety conditions that will avoid endangering our staff or the public when they visit our facilities. But there's going to be a number of other changes we're going to make to our meeting schedules. Very likely we'll go back to in-person meetings of boards and committees in July, at some point in July, later July and mid-July. So that's just some of the things, but I'm again very pleased with the vast majority of the community has worked with us. And when I'm going into businesses, a goodly number of folks are compliant and adhering to social distancing. But I'm seeing more and more people who are choosing not to do that are getting getting a message from those of us who want to protect ourselves and our families, that hopefully through some people have referred to herd immunity as one way we're going to get through this virus infections, but I think we're going to have herd influence, in that people that are concerned about this and serious about it have to influence their neighbors and their peers to try to encourage them to do likewise, because it should become very rude to not take your own personal responsibility for this.
Hey, Randy, I'm going to ask you a question that we got on Facebook. Cynthia De La Salas wants to know, I think, who's monitoring that the governor's guidelines are being adhered to. She says that she's seen restaurants at full capacity with no social distancing and workers not wearing a mask. I think she's just concerned. She says, just asking since numbers are increasing. And I don't really think that's a bad question. What should someone do in the community if they see what they feel like is establishments that are out of compliance, if you will?
Well, I don't think we should be bashful to say something to management and ownership of those businesses that might be not compliant. The other more serious way is to report it to the city. Our code enforcement folks are based on complaints. We've been doing enforcement activities at different levels throughout this, weekend enforcement and so forth. But right now it has evolved to where pretty much all of our businesses are open again, and it's a really tough challenge to get into measuring square footage and calculating how many people are in the building. Walmart, I think, has done a fantastic job of putting together a system for that, but some businesses have been less diligent about it. And the final thing I'd suggest is they, of course, can report them to the various licensing agencies for those businesses, and to the governor's on their website who you report it to, and through our folks we can report as well, and we have been. We make personal calls, but there are mechanisms to enforce, and it could have licensing implications, and there's liability from businesses. So I think if all of us speak up and whatever, I think that'll help. But those are just some ideas.
Okay, thank you for that, and thanks for that great update. It's always a pleasure to have you on our calls. And I see that George Duckstein from Cluiston Christian has joined us. George, do you have, I'm going to unmute you. Well, it looks like you have yourself muted, so I can't unmute you. But do you have
George.
an update from the school that you want to give? There you go. There you are. Anything going on at the school? Any word on what we can expect in the fall or anything like that?
We are going to start our summer program starting July 6th, and we're going to have anybody that's an incoming first grader to sixth grader will have a program from July 6th to July 31st.
Okay.
Wow.
And so
That's-
what is this? It's for CCS incoming first grade through sixth. Is it just to make sure that students don't have like a learning gap, if you will, from having the homeschool portion of the year?
Yes, we're going to be working on reading and math in the morning, and then we're going to have crafts and physical activities in the afternoon, and it costs $100 for the whole month.
Oh, wow. That's a great price. Okay.
So it's open to the public, George, or is it just for the students?
Just for our students.
That's awesome.
Okay. Thanks, George. Anything else? You got any chamber questions?
Well, we're hoping to start August 6th at our school, live school, and we're going to send out indicators to parents. They're going to be able to pick either coming to school and having live school, or a hybrid version, or a home home version. We're gonna let the parents pick what they decide what they want to do coming this
Oh, and
fall.
you're gonna accommodate you're gonna be able to accommodate all those options at one time.
That's what we're trying to do, yes.
Wow, that's fantastic. Okay.
That is really
So you
good.
pick your comfort level and yeah, that's awesome. As a CCS parent, thank you.
Yep. But that's my update.
Okay. Well,
Well,
thanks.
thank
Thanks for
Thank you so
joining
much
us.
for that one.
George is kind of becoming a chamber hero too. I'm just saying, because he's on a lot of
Mhm.
our calls.
He does participate, and we definitely appreciate that.
Yes.
If there are any members that are joining us on Facebook, throughout the summer, yes, things like naturally slow down. But if you have any specials, any updates, of course, things are changing all of the time. I'm almost begging y'all to please send your information over to us so that I'd be able to get that information out to chamber membership and our community just properly. I really want to, just be an asset. Of course, we want to be an asset to the community and to our businesses. So if you have some information that you'd like to share, if you have an update, if you have some specials that's going on, or if you have a flyer, a lot of our businesses are actually good about sending their flyers. Thank you for the guys that do.
Hey,
But if you
Deidre,
had,
can we just take a minute and talk about the Eye Centers of Florida flyer? Yes. Because
their flyer has been amazing.
I'm
They-
super
they-
excited about that. You want to tell everybody about that?
I can try to. I was going to try to pull it up. Let me see.
I think it's a great
They
deal. It's
have,
like a super deal. Well, it's on our Facebook page. Check out our Facebook page. But it's a super deal. Sorry, Raymond, on Costas. So.
The marina has 20% off posters right now for Father's Day.
That's great. That's
We don't
great.
have a flyer.
So, well, these are prescription. So there's that.
Did you got some already, Hillary?
No, but I made an appointment. So I can go.
Okay. I was trying to pull up the flyer, but they do have 30% off of Costas.
I'm
I'm
always
trying
talking
to,
about that I want to put prescription lenses in my sunglasses. So it looks like now's the time.
Okay, well, that's pretty much it. They have like amazing. We'll be sharing, like you said, sharing it on Facebook.
It's there.
And if you're a member of the chamber, of course, you get that flyer every week in our weekly bulletin. Okay, to wrap us up, guys, with I guess like a little edge of a happy moment. Tell me, I'll call you by name. Where are you vacationing, if anywhere, and where do you wish you could vacation? Go, Raymond. Well, you are like the busiest man in the business. Wait a minute. I don't know if you even taking a break.
Just don't show this video to my wife, but we won't be vacationing
I
this
can't make any
year.
promises.
So we typically go to Isla Mirada either in June or July for 10 days, but this year doesn't look like that's going to happen. So we may just take a little 2-3 day weekend trip, but I've got other things I've got to work on right now that I'm focused on.
I got you. So a little bit of a staycation.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, George, you're up. Where are you vacationing, or where do you wish you could vacation?
Well, I want to thank Raymond for not going on vacation because his wife's helping us with our summer school. So thanks, Raymond.
Listen, can I just blame it on you?
A small town.
But you said you were going to work.
So that's great. So I'm glad. But it's my daughter's 21st birthday. So 21st birthday. So we're going to go to Utah, June 26th, and
Is
to Las
she there?
Vegas.
Is she in Utah or you're just like visiting Utah?
She likes going to national parks. So
Awesome.
we're going to go to national parks.
Oh, that's going to be a great trip, George.
Yep.
That's exciting.
That is nice. I'm going to go next. I want to go anywhere outside of my street. I hadn't planned much of anything. I'm probably just going to do a staycation like you, Raymond. If I can get on somebody's boat, I will get on somebody's boat in like an astronaut suit or one of those chemical suits and
Now,
go.
listen, I've had you on a pontoon boat on Lake Okeechobee, and you look pretty scared. So,
Raymond, don't tell my business. Okay, I was afraid, but that was like a smaller boat. I'm talking about like a fast ferry to go visit my aunt over in Freeport. That's my goal. So y'all, hopefully by the end of July, I can go visit her and go take her some supplies because normally I do my annual missions trip, and of course that had been canceled. But I'm gonna do like a little something just for a few family members. That's where I wish I can go, but I'll probably be just going like anywhere. All right, Randy.
I'm planning on mostly doing staycation and doing day trips and still exploring parts of Florida I haven't seen. But realistically, the only vacation I'll be having this year is one that's very important to me if I can stay healthy and she'll let me. My mom's going to turn 85 late this summer, and so we're hoping to spend a few days with her and our family, get there if we can all stay healthy and keep her comfortable. We're looking forward to it.
That's awesome.
Randy.
Happy birthday to Randy's mom, 85. Wow. We could all be so lucky, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. All righty, Hillary, you're up. Tell us about your vacay.
So super excited. I'm always super excited, right? I'm leaving on Tuesday. Well, I guess, yeah, somewhere around there. Anyway, we are going to North Carolina. So we'll go up there and do some, it's just my favorite place on the planet. Truly my favorite place.
That's where I'll be. That's where I'll be too, Hillary, up in the foothills.
Oh, I just love it. We do some hiking and some biking and some eating, which you don't even have to feel bad because you hiked or biked beforehand, you know. It's a great vacation, very low key, very and it's all state park driven. So George, I feel your daughter on the love of the state park. So we're really looking forward to that.
So I just figured out what I'm doing. Okay, never mind. Don't answer that. We'll talk offline. I figured out what I'm going to do for vacation. I'm coming with you, basically.
That works.
All right, everybody. Does anyone have any last comments, thoughts, questions? As we're approaching.
I do. One quick one. I want to just again go back to your earlier guest representing the Juneteenth celebration. I am very proud of those folks that put that together. I was shocked, to be honest with you. This is my first year in the county, that this county, to my knowledge, hasn't had a Juneteenth celebration previously. And what a year to have one. It couldn't be better timing, in my opinion, to recognize the significance of that. Someday, hopefully, be a holiday. I'm really proud of them. The city's partnering with them. Our police department's taking the lead for all the efforts, and we'll be providing the use of the park and the facilities. But I encourage the citizens to get out there and get involved in that tomorrow, because that is really, really good. What they described the program earlier, and the commission unanimously approved it Monday. So we're excited to see that, and hopefully it'll be an annual event.
I couldn't agree with everything you said. I couldn't agree more with everything you said right there.
That's a perfect thing to end our meeting on, our summer social. Thank you, everybody, for participating. Thank you for your questions on Facebook. Everyone have a beautiful, wonderful, amazing summer, no matter where you end up. God bless.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.